Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. The leaders of the world's two largest economies are set to meet in Beijing. President Trump arrived this morning to a grand welcome on the tarmac. China's vice president greeted Trump along with the crowd waving both Chinese and American flags. The main event is still to come. Later tonight, President Trump will meet face-to-face with his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, and there's plenty to talk about, including trade, artificial intelligence, the future of Taiwan, and potentially what is next for the conflict in the Middle East. It is still unclear how the war will end. In the meantime, Americans are feeling the pain at the pump. The average cost of a gallon of gas is currently about $4.50, according to AAA. Yesterday, President Trump said he doesn't think about Americans' financial situations when negotiating with Tehran. Vice President J.D. Vance was asked about that today.
I think that's a misrepresentation of what the president said. Of course, the president and I and the entire team, we care about the American people's financial situations. My message to Americans is we know that we have a lot of work to do in order to deliver on the prosperity that the American people deserve.
Now, China has a friendly relationship with Iran and could potentially play a role in ending the war and the economic uncertainty that comes with it. But at the White House yesterday, President Donald Trump downplayed China's role.
I have a great relationship with President Xi, and I think it's going to remain that way. We have a lot of things to discuss. I wouldn't say Iran is one of them, to be honest with you, because we have Iran very much under control.
CBS News foreign correspondent Anna Coren joins us now from Beijing. Anna, just break down for us what is at stake. We hear about these two superpowers, if you will, meeting. What does this mean for the world?
Well, look, a better relationship between China and the United States is certainly better for the world. And I think that's very much what this two-day summit is about, a reset in relations after years of tension and turmoil, and to stabilize, this bilateral relationship, the most consequential bilateral relationship of our time. But you ask what's at stake. It's trade deals, Jerika. That is what President Trump wants to take away from his meeting with President Xi. He will meet with him in just under 4 hours at the Great Hall of the People, and his bilateral meetings will take place most of the day. But he wants to sell U.S. products such as Boeing aircraft, beef, soybeans, natural gas. And there is a delegation of about 17 top U.S. executives traveling with him. We saw NVIDIA's Jensen Huang, as well as Elon Musk, SpaceX's Elon Musk, on the plane with him as he disembarked last night here, local time. So Trump set the scene, mid-air when he posted that he wants Xi to open China to corporate America. There are regulatory hurdles for those companies trying to do business here in China. So that is one of the things that he wants to overcome. But he needs to take wins home to the American people, to alleviate the pressure for him at home, and to really show that he does have a good relationship with President Xi. He also wants a guaranteed supply of rare earths and critical minerals. As you recall last year, the U.S. was very much caught off guard at the height of the tariff war when China threatened to cut off that global supplies. So President Trump obviously doesn't want to be in that vulnerable situation again, Jerika. So
some powerful companies being represented there by the leadership, and what makes a successful summit, it sounds like, as you mentioned, deals that are made, and hopefully some sort of agreement, too, as it relates to Iran, seeing as though China obviously trades with them. Anna Coren, thank you. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand is at the White House. Natalie, thank you for joining us. Can you tell us some of the clear objectives from the White House heading into these talks?
Yeah, Jerika, just to kind of build off the discussion with Anna, the president has signaled that trade and business deals are top of mind for him, opening up China to more American business. And he really has the who's who of, top CEOs when it comes to tech and finance traveling along. Analysts say that is a move to really project corporate strength here going into Thursday's bilateral meetings. But of course, huge matters of national security loom over over these talks, not just Iran, as you were talking about, but Taiwan. And before the president and the delegation left the White House and left Washington, D.C. yesterday, lawmakers over on Capitol Hill were pressing Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth over this multi-billion-dollar arms package for Taiwan that was greenlit late last year, but has kind of been on hold. Lawmakers and other officials are closely watching what happens to that and how that factors into some of these discussions. Of course, Beijing has stated ahead of this meeting that it is opposed to those arms sales by the U.S. to Taiwan, of course, a self-governing democratic island, and that Taiwan remains a core interest for China. Sharika.
Natalie, speaking of Iran, as I was speaking with Anna Coren about, there's been so much back and forth when it comes to negotiations or if there's a plan in place. What is the latest on the negotiations between the United States and Iran?
And this is going to come up, as you noted, because China is a top purchaser of Iranian oil. Here at the White House complex, the vice president at an event was asked by CBS News' Jennifer Jacobs, what is the status of talks? And he said that there is progress, but that the administration and that the U.S. needs assurances that there are a number of protections in place to make sure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. So that remains the outstanding question here. And as these talks appear to have stalled, Iran state media today is reporting that Tehran wants new preconditions on resuming negotiations, including, Jarika, lifting sanctions and also compensation for war-related damages, according to Iran state media.
All right, Natalie Brandforce at the White House. Thank you so much.